Very good.
There we go. Hopefully we're back now. So, hi, I'm Natalie. And today we're finishing off our covered box project. So, to start with, I'm going to cut out these pieces while Ian's doing hellos now that you can hear us.
There we go, So, good morning Tracy, Carol, Deb, Jill and Linda. There we go. Sorry about that, it lost the
Microphone.
Silly
thing. All together now.
Morning Joey.
So I probably have a few extra tabs here than what I need, but it's easier at this point to kind of put those in and trim them off later if we need to.
And morning Corinne.
Morning, Corinne.
Corinne.
So this is going to be our inside bottom panel. So we'll do that after we've added the remaining panel to the back. And that's going to tidy up in there.
I thought for a minute then we were going over there.
Huh?
We were going over there, didn't we?
What? And not go?
No sound.
Oh dear.
I fixed it.
You could have typed subtitles.
Not the speed you thought.
Okay. So let's go up this edge here. So these are our two side insert
Morning to you.
panels. You want to try and get these as straight as possible, but if you want to use your trimmer you can do. If you want to use your scan and cut you can do that as well.
Tracy, I think your hand is hurting again. Not so much on there, we're just sort of protecting them so they don't get any worse, aren't we?
Yeah, because they seem to be mending, so I don't really want to put anything else on them at the minute. So, rather than having them drying out. I've just put the gloves on. So there's those. And finally, our two insert pins for this bit.
Yes, no paper clips. Quiet. And cutting the tip off my fingers. Eagle.
Yeah. Turn them into ones that can use the iPad.
Have you got enough pairs now? You could probably cut a couple of fingertips off if you needed to.
Yeah, just so I can carry on doing more iPad stuff. I just sent it in that there are some very nice freebies for the daily gifts on Creative Fabrica today. So be sure to go and download those, especially if you are into your shabby chic. There's a very nice bundle that's free, so make the most of these things while I have them.
Morning Rachel.
We're getting there.
Tracy says you'll have to go over it.
Yeah, it's really pretty set, isn't it? Okay, so we're nearly there with all our cutting out. Do save your offcuts for future elements of the project if you're going to decorate the front with a nice panel. Running out of room. Right. So So let's get this panel here first. So this is the one we attached to our piece of stiffer card. So if you didn't get to watch yesterday, do go back and watch again. So I'm going to have these fold in, I think. Like so. Now I want this to wrap around this edge so I get a nice neat edge here. So as I said, if you do the members project, it works out slightly differently because we could fit all the pieces in kind of a strip.
You're still using your Tombow mono?
Yep, still using the Tombow mono. So all these tabs apart from the bottom one, I'm just going to fold inwards. And you're still going to want a bone folder to crease all these round nice and evenly.
Carol said, wouldn't it be easy to put the inside panels on before the back for easier access?
No. Because you end up gluing them with very little glue. There's a small thing you'll notice when you do the members project as well. There are no little tabs. You just literally glue the edge. Then you are better off didn't quite get that in the corner where I wanted it, never mind. You are better off building your entire frame, and then you're going to use the edges to actually pin that centre piece in place. So you're going to dry it with a weight on top. Come on, in there. This one's fighting back today.
Morning, Louise.
There we go. We get the.
I think morning to Louise.
I'm just going to crease that down. Might end up putting a bit more glue on because that took a little bit longer than it should have. So let's go around that. Huh?
It's Wednesday today.
It is Wednesday today.
But Louise didn't do Wednesday morning.
Not usually.
That doesn't mean.
No, it's not that you've got the wrong day of the week or anything, darling.
I don't know.
The only problem with doing this in gloves is that it's a pain to get in the nitty gritty bits. So let's just get my nail in there. There we go. So I'm just doing a slight angle on that top corner so that it bends around right. And because I put my finger in it, I'll put some more glue. Okay. In we go.
I know, shot collar eye maybe. I thought you were doing a course or something for.
Yeah, we have to say disclaimer. Today is definitely Wednesday. Just we didn't stream Monday, did we? So it's like, what day of the week is it?
I just don't know from one to the next.
Okay. So the members kit is well worth getting so that you can have a look at a different way for doing this section for the orders. Because that one worked out a bit different, didn't it?
Mm-hmm. It's definitely hump day. Middle of the week, hump day.
Yeah.
It's all downhill from here.
It's been quite a busy old week for us this week, hasn't it? One way or another. So, with our bottom tab, you have a decision to make. You could do it so it wraps around this bottom section here. and then cut another section in there to actually cover that bit if you want to. On the other hand, you could just trim that bottom tab off if you didn't want to, or wrap it round like so, so that you get a nice neat edge. The choice is yours. So I think for this one I'm actually going to glue it, because it's going to make that a bit stronger just on that back section. So let's glue these tabs. Do. And also remember to glue this bottom tab on this one. So the members project's about £5 for non-members, isn't it? Off the top of my head, yes, this month. Sometimes it's a little bit more if they get spoiled, particularly. So the other month we did 2, didn't we? So that one's a little bit more expensive to go back and purchase as a non-member. Okay, so I'm concentrating on lining up these top little sections so that they fit nice and flush. Then finally I can wrap that tab underneath. Now before we go too far, I'm going to burnish from the inside down to get that bottom tab. Then turn it so that you've got your glued bit on the bottom. I'm going to move these side pieces in, and then we can actually burnish those in place too. So that's going to help everything kind of seal and set where it needs to go. And same on that bottom tab inside. Okay, there we go. So at this point, just do a little test, make sure that everything's fitting as you think it should. If there's anything like this one where it's a bit more complex, where you think you're going to want to do some little bits of covering up, where we've got like these internal corners, this is the time to try and make a note of what you need to go where. Okay, so we can cut some little lining pieces that are going to go down in here, but also particularly in these spaces here, so we get a nice finish. Now, before we get that far, I'm going to take my insert piece that's going to go down into the bottom, and we're going to fold that along these lines here. Now obviously, because we haven't scored these yet, there's not going to be an easy way of doing that. So you want to grab a ruler, and you want an embossing tool, but not a particularly wide one. So the one that we use for our hoagie or something like that would be too wide. We want to go a little bit thinner.
I have Anna.
So we're going to go along the black lines.
Your picture seems awfully bright this morning.
Seems awfully bright. Oh, wow, yeah. It's not usually that bright. It's washing things out a little bit, isn't it? So we're going to fold this next, and you want to fold the tabs inwards to your pretty paper. So your score line is going to make this nice and easy. You just need to crease along them so that you get a good fold, like so. So if we fold that up there, you can see you're going to have this little excess in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold that up, so it's going to give me a guide. then I can snip out that excess. So do that in each corner. So fold it up, stick that corner in, so that I get a little pinch mark. Same there.
And Louise can now watch us on the telly bobs.
Yay!
She's got an Alexa TV Firebox.
Cool. So, bone folder's going to chuck itself on the floor. Only a bone folder.
You need it.
I can probably pick it up in a minute. I'm going to snip out that excess so that this can fold nice and neatly. Down there. Down there. Nearly there. Okay, now we want to put glue on our tabs. And at this point I'm going to switch ends, so I've got my nice broad end and we can go all over the base. So as with yesterday, it's important that we get a good all over coverage, and the teeth on that end just help us do that. Oop. So pay particular attention to your corners, because those are the bits you're most likely to miss.
Yes, I didn't get the cat reference, but now you mentioned about the picture, yes, I understand. Sorry, Louise.
Were you not with it this morning? Okay. So I'm going to decide which is the front, just so I can get this kind of pointing the way I want to. And can lower that in, like so. Now it's going to try and stick to your sides, but because we've used that watery glue, it's going to be okay. So just take your time, push it in.
No, I probably won't get a cat. I'm more of a dog person.
Yeah, you don't like cats. We nearly had a cat the other night, didn't we?
Tried to.
Yeah, one of the neighbours' cats, wasn't it? It was like meow at the door, wanting us to let her in. It's all very well, she doesn't live in this door. She's a proper Halloween cat though, isn't she? Very fluffy, black cat. And I think she's kind of sweet, but you don't like it, do you? You're definitely a doggy person. I'm more of a dog than a cat, but some cats I don't mind. And this one's kind of sweet. Okay, so I'm going through each tab and just using the kind of pointy edge of my bone folder to just rub that down.
We might have to get another Le Petit Pooch.
Le Petit Pooch?
Yes, I can sit it in the front of my HGV.
Ah, you can pinch Le Petit Pooch if you want.
I can pinch it, even if I use the car motto.
Okay, so let's have a look at this one. So I want to put something that goes in there. So what I could do is I could actually go a little bit bigger with that piece if I wanted to, just because of these corners here. Or I could do something that's actually going to kind of tidy that up. Now one of the things to bear in mind is, while we're seeing it like this, that isn't the way it's going to look, because we've still got these panels here to come in. So we can actually use these to hide a multitude of sins.
That's better.
Was it a bit too bright, was it? So that's going to go in there like that. So if you want to put some little tabs on this next section, you can use those to cover up. But before I go too far, let's stick in these side panels.
Oh dear.
What's that?
When you say cats don't like me, could job it's reciprocated. Plus she's allergic. I'm a dog person. A skinny young cat tried to kick them through the window the other week, spotted me and legged it.
Yeah. I would say this cat should have really learnt when Ian had to chase him out of the block one day that Ian doesn't do cats. But I also give off this aura of mad cat lady. I'm definitely more of a dog. So if any of you are on Insta, I particularly like noodles.
Rachel says dogs and horses all day. Yeah. Don't mind a horse.
Okay, there we go. So I've roughly matched up the sides, very roughly. Make sure you get any clumpy bits of the glue out before you stick it down as well, so that bit's there need to go. Otherwise you'll find that you get this little bump in your project and it's really annoying.
Hi Tiffany.
So I'm just going to pop that one in there too, and I'll endeavour to turn that around so you can see inside what I've done. Didn't quite get that one as much as well, but there we go. Okay, so hopefully you can see that we're starting to get the lining into our box. Now you want to make sure that you burnish those pieces down well too.
Horses at a distance, they're big and scary.
I quite like horses.
Never get you on one.
Yeah, you'd never get me on one because I don't like heights, but I'll walk up to one and give one a treat.
See, I used to ride, so I like horses.
Yeah, you're quite a daredevil, aren't you? In disguise, really.
Rach says a girl is big and scary when she's hungry. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just looking at this and thinking, do I want to actually put a little bit of coverage in there, or do I just want to go for a slightly bigger piece? And I think what I'm going to do is actually just go for a larger piece, and I'll probably go for a different pattern.
Because you're out of paper.
Yeah, I'm running out of paper, quite right. Although, yeah, that's going to be too small.
There's some more over there.
Yeah, I still think I'm going to not have enough depth on it. So, I suppose I might just get that one on there. Yeah, let's go with that one. So if you end up doing this like me and readjusting it, I'm just going to pop it on there. And let's get my other ruler, so the one that we used with our grid. We're going to just pop that on there, and we can draw back round. So I think I might have to go a little bit bigger. Let's have a look.
Right.
Let's put that in
Springers.
measure.
My nan used to have springers.
Yeah.
Mad as a brush, but lovely dogs.
Gorgeous ducks. I keep trying to twist your arm, don't I? But
You tell you not when we're up on the second floor flat.
You promised me.
No, I promise you when we had a house. That's ours.
So I'm just going to go for it from there up that way. Let's go down that way, so that's not too far off. And same that side, so it should fit in nicely. What?
Wow.
What's that?
So Tracy had a horse when she was 16 and it was 17 hands high, which is huge.
Oh.
And it didn't stay that long. At one stage she was allergic to it, so I had to have medication. Then we hit her in the back and took a chunk out of her back. So
Ooh. Ouch.
and the other Tracy in Australia has 2 cats and 2 dogs, and also had a tarantula, but the tarantula's sadly passed away.
Yeah, you wouldn't get me having a tarantula. Or either of us, to be honest.
No.
We don't do spiders.
And Louise says a beautiful temperament. She used to have border collie cross, and she was fabulous. But yes.
Right, let's have a look at this.
We used to have rough collie, didn't we? I
Yeah.
did. We used to have a rough collie.
How have I managed to get that way too big? Let's trim that down there a bit.
Probably
Oh,
waffling
dear.
on in the background so it distracts you.
Yeah, go. It's the foot of that tarantula. No, really don't do spiders.
Apart from cardboard in the front room.
Oh, even that, you know, put on dodgy ground. Let's just make a little note here of where this has got to come into roughly. So I want that to come inside there, down there, and how are we doing for height? We'll fit across there.
Yeah, Tracy's not a spider lover either, she's afraid.
Yeah. I must admit, I did squeal a little yesterday when I went back in the room, didn't I? So
He'd appeared from nowhere, hadn't he?
yeah. So let's give this a little snip. Might end up just doing a little bit of trimming. So once you've got one that you're happy with, you can always use that as a template.
Nice.
What?
And the tarantula's name is Morticia, but one of her dogs is an Alaskan Malamute.
Oh, I love those.
Mm. I'm glad you got it, Sammy.
Yeah, did you notice what silly mistake we made?
I bet she hasn't noticed now, because if they don't know, they're not in there.
They don't know that there's something missing.
So for the 3 foil shields that went out in the post on Monday, we forgot to put in the instructions.
Which would help.
Which would help, but yeah, it basically just lists what other ones are available if you need to get new ones, and the groups join. I will put a copy up in the Foil Shield group, so they are there if you do need them or want them, in a PDF format for you, just so you can take them. But I'm glad you're enjoying it, Sally. She's so much late, she's engrossed in the Foil Shield. Yeah.
That's okay.
And Louise said she's had a tarantula, boa constrictor, lizard, spider, crab. No issues, wouldn't keep one though.
I can honestly say the only one out of those that I might possibly consider is the crab. Bizarrely. But the snake, I would be the other side of the room, and yeah, I don't do snakes. There was a bit of a funny experience on a school trip once, but.
And Rachel has a Malamute and 2 Semiots.
Oh. That's going to be one fluffy household. I bet they get pampered regularly. And you don't have to get through the hoovers. Because fluffy.
And Tracy has 2 Malamute crossed with a dingo.
Crossed with a dingo?
Yeah, that's an interesting mix.
Okay. So once you've got one that works for what you want, then it's easy enough to pick up it across.
A lot, and they are very pampered.
Well, you just got to, haven't you? Yeah. So.
Are you sorted now?
I'm getting there.
Okay.
But I think I'm going to have to get another sheet of that same paper.
Well, I'll shoot that paper.
I should have, I think. Or have I?
2 of each, isn't it?
Oh, might have to go for something else then. Shocking. Because I don't think that one's going to be big enough. Oh. Oh, I might just get it in there. See, look, this is why I say you save your offcuts, because until...
Is that the right one?
And that way.
Okay.
Huh?
Is that the right one?
What?
Size of a piece that you could...
I'll double check again. But, yeah, because it's snug.
Yeah, that's right, just making sure, because you've got another one just in front of you, that's all I think.
Yeah, those I might save for something else. I might do myself a little panel to go on the front.
Or you could attach
Let's
them
go.
to your insert so you've got something to move it by.
Just no. Oh. So I'm just going to trace around the outside. And this is why we do it good side down, because if you do what Natty just did and skid, then it's only the back of the paper that you're doing. Now all this tracing that I'm doing in black pen you could do in pencil, and the pen I'm using is erasable. It's a Z-grip erasable pen, but you've got your Pilot Frictions you could use, or the Papermate Replays. I don't have to think then what it was.
Linda says the Sussex Spaniel has to be brushed twice a day, his coat is so thick.
Oh.
And Jill's kids had lizards when they lived at home and the crickets kept escaping.
Oh. The kids had snakes, didn't they? And the snake escaped a couple of times, I think. Well, they said it escaped. Personally, I think one of the kids let it out.
Oh, Louise is having internet issues, she's probably due for a storm. Oh.
I won't be surprised though, because it's been unusually sunny, hasn't it? And
what, we're on 13th of October, and it's...
yeah. So tomorrow we're doing shaker cards.
I don't know what we're doing Friday yet.
That's going to fit better in there. That's it. Friday. I thought Friday we were having off.
We're going to have to do Friday up, are we?
I thought. Just going to trim that down slightly so it fits slightly better.
Oh, is it our weekend off this weekend?
Yes.
Apart from Sunday.
Yeah, just check the diary in case I'm on the wrong date. And
No, I think you're right, because that's... Yeah, because the following week I'd be starting to work on the Monday, wouldn't we?
yeah.
So we said we take this weekend and...
Yeah, so we're going to have a bit of a longer weekend.
Yeah.
Because we haven't taken any time off halfway in like 2
Well,
years.
since lockdown.
Yeah, so we're thinking it's probably time that we should actually go, do you know what, need a little time off.
13th, my granddaughter's 16th birthday.
Ah. 16 is a dim and distant memory.
Not when it's 6 AM or when sirens go past. Oh dear.
That's what Lucy's struggling to get used to, isn't it? It's the sirens.
Yeah.
Let's take that one out there for a minute. Get this one in. So when you're putting your side pieces in, it's good to line it up at the bottom first, so that you're not getting like a curve.
Go up screaming.
So there you go. So I hope you can see. Now, then we can use that wet glue to give us a bit of wiggle room to get everything in as it should be. If there's any bits that you just think just need that little bit of a trim, I'm just going to peel that up there so I can just do a sliver off that top. There we go. Get that nice and neat. Bone folders at the ready, and give it a good press down. So if you want the file to create this box, Ian did save it yesterday, didn't you?
I did.
So just let Ian know and he will pop it up on the group. It will be a Canvas workspace project file. So you will need to be able to use the downloaded version of Canvas for it. Or ask him even nice, and you might just do a...
FCM.
That's the one. Dee-dee-dee. I was using some gold mousse yesterday. It's gone everywhere, hasn't it? Find it in the randomness places.
Like on the back of your bit of card there.
Yes.
Picked it up somewhere.
Okay. So we have our lined box.
Hey.
So now we just need to do those two centre panels, which we're obviously going to do in a contrasting paper. So let's go for...
Jason says that's gold leaf everywhere. Hubby has started to notice.
What's that?
Gold leaf everywhere.
Oh dear. Just trying to decide which one I'm going to go for, because there's lots of nice papers in this one. Which are we thinking?
What are you going to use the box for?
It's to go with my other one, so I'm going to put my calendar in that one and then use that one to put my albums in, I think. Do some little albums to go in it with swatches and things. Like me ring bound one that was up there somewhere. That's gone. No, the other one with the index cards. So, that one. Okay. Decisive. I like it. Decisive. There we go. So, we have our two insert pieces.
Where do we get the paper from that? It's Paper Boutique, so where can you get Paper Boutique from that?
Who's asking?
Tracy.
Tracy. It's from Creative Crafting World, and I don't know who the Australian distributor would be, but if you get in touch with them in the first instance, they should be able to tell you who will have it near you. And they regularly have offers on. So today I know they've got an offer on the embellishments to go with this paper, because that came in my inbox this morning. So I'm going to stick these down onto my paper with plenty of room around them.
Is it on Amazon?
You can get some of them on Amazon. I'm not sure if this one you can get on Amazon. So again, plenty of glue. Squidge it all out. So the set that I'm using is Lovely Days, and it has quite a few component parts to it. So the ones that you've stuck down are going to be like your front facing side of your piece, okay? So that is going to be what's going to go to your front panel. Then all your gluing you are going to want to do to your back section. So you are going to need to do a little measuring for this, but not much, promise. First of all, you're going to want to do 3 glue tabs, so like a U. Then we're going to do a slightly narrower glue tab, so it's going to start off at that width and narrow slightly to wrap over the top and in, and that's going to cover the other side. So we used glue tabs of 3/8 before, so we can do that same measurement again. Just going to get up and head over the top because it's a little bit easier to see. Let's make it a bit easier. Just going to trace around this just so I can see where I'm going, so I don't line up on the wrong section. Okay. So I'm lining that up here with my grid, making sure it's as straight as possible, and then we can go along that edge, down that edge, and we'll do the same here. So along that edge, down this edge. Now the good news is you don't have to be accurate on your glue tabs because you're going to be covering them all up anyway. So I'm going to do same down this end. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Did you not leave your bottom open so you can then fold it over and cover the back of the...
Yep, that's what I said.
Did you? Sorry. I missed that bit. I was getting a drink.
Did you get me one?
You can have another.
That'll be a no.
You only got 15 minutes to go.
Okay, nearly there. So most of what we have left to do is drying. So I'm just going to do a little bit of a mark that way and a little bit of a mark that way. Same here. So there we go. Get it as close to 45 as possible. It doesn't have to be exact. So you should now have something that looks like that. So you've got your 3 glue tabs to one side, and that's going to wrap round and make these edges nice and neat. Okay. Now, We're then going to have an opportunity to cover any mess in here if you need to. So I'm happy with mine, but if you have any bits that you're not happy with, you can add a glue tab onto this panel to cover anything up. So let's go. First of all, we're going to measure. So we're taking a rough line up equal to our box. Our square. That's the word I'm looking for. So that's going to cover that edge. Then we're going to want to bring it in a little. So if you want to continue this line across a bit, if it's not quite long enough, you can do. And we're going to go so that we are roughly 1/8 of an inch inside. And try and get that straight. Just going to use that square in there to line that up. And we're going to line from that point there and down here. Now, our square is 10 centimetres, or just shy of 4 inches. So we know that this is going to be wrapping round and pulling up, so we can go and butt that right up against that side, go to the 4-inch mark and finish off that line. So again, if it helps, flip your ruler, butted it up to that edge so that we can keep it nice and square. Let's go in about 1/8 of an inch and from 4 and back down, like so. Then we can join those 2 points up. So you should have something that looks like that. Now if you want to add your glue tabs on it at this point, then that's where you would go back out your 3/8 from this line to then have it so that it will actually emboss back into that corner. So we're going to do the same on this one. So
Is that ruler's coming so handy for this project?
yes, definitely. So let's go this way. And it helps to kind of get so that you can actually push it back against that card as well. So it's a case of using your tools the best way. So sometimes things like the purple ruler where you've just got a metal strip are really good. But then there are other times like this where you want to be able to have that grid to help you out. And then we can rotate that and join the dots. And like so. So you should have something that looks like that now. Just going to pop my ruler back out of the way for a moment while I cut this out. So with glue tabs, if it's a bit awkward to cut, don't worry. But when you're doing this last bottom bit, you want to be quite neat. So if it helps, just trim it out of your larger paper first, then go back and tidy everything up after. Which is what I'm going to do. Because it can be quite awkward when you're fighting with a bit of 12 by 12 that's got cards stuck on it, because it becomes quite wobbly. So I'm just going to cut that off there. Then let's rotate this round. And straight down that black line.
You then glue that piece first.
no, you glue this bit last. So you do your little glue tabs first, so that you get your nice neat edges, and then you fold that back piece over and it's going to hide all the mess of your glue tabs. So you get a nice neat finish. So with the last little bit, I'm actually sticking these in. Sounds like it, doesn't it? You are going to want to either use a glue gun or some nice strong PVA. So I use the Sticks to 3D PVA to stick my other sections in my other project. And then you want to have a heavy weight that you can put on the side of the box. It's going to force those sides down onto the glue and just let it dry. So I may not be able to show that on screen because I can't leave it on my desk today. Too much to do. So let's fold these round too. So by doing all our folds first, we're ensuring that everything should fold nice and easily, but we can also see if there's any issues that we just need to address with our pattern. So just here, it's a little bit long on that top section, and we could probably come down a little bit in here. So let's first of all trim off a little bit off the top. Like so. I'm just going to trim a little bit off this edge here, just so there's a little less bulk.
And Tracy says don't use just double-sided tape for your box design just because it will just fall apart like magic.
Yeah. It's definitely one of those that double-sided tape is not going to do the job, especially if you want to actually store anything with any significant weight. So one of the things I would say, if you are doing this project and you want to put something really heavy in it, then by all means go and download the members project, and you'll see I did a different way round where we created this first outside bit as one continuous strip, and that's what you're going to want to do, because then you get much more of a reinforced bottom, because you're going to have glue tabs that are wrapping round and inside, and it's going to be well and truly solid. Okay, so I'm just going to check that again. Yeah, that should be fine.
You got enough for a quick photo and then it collapsed on her.
Oh dear. But yes, it's one of the ones that this glue is really good for, because anytime when you are covering anything with paper, it's just ideal. So whether you're working onto MDF and doing an MDF project, I use that glue too.
Oh dear, Tracy says it's sitting there in pieces.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Let's get some glue on this side too. So I'm going to do this opposite side, then I'll do that last top flap. And you'll find it when you're doing glue tabs for a project, if you try and do the opposites, you usually get a neater finish. So then when we fold this one over, you see, it should have a nice neat finish. Now if you want to tuck in those edges there, we can do. So let's just get that in there, so we get a nice neat finish. Okay, then we can stick that back down, and we can use our bone folders to just take that edge over, smooth it down, and do the same this end. So take that edge over, smooth it down, and go right along that edge. So the more you can press and fold and burnish, the neater your edge is going to look. So finally we have this big section to do.
He's going to do the one.
Yeah, I'm just going to do the one. And you're just going to go wee over the top. And wee all over here. Now, the reason that I've done that piece of paper there is I want to make sure that I'm going up to the edges on this one. But obviously if I go up to the edges on this piece, there's a chance that you're going to get glue seepage. So particularly if you're working with something that dries glossy or opaque, you're going to want to do that in that order. So work your corners and then we can smooth it out. Like so. And as before, we're going to burnish everything. So even where you go into the glue tabs, we can go right up into those edges and make sure that we're getting really good seal. And again, the more you do this, the longer your project is going to last. Because the last thing we want are bits of paper peeling up or coming off or falling apart in Tracy's case. Work any bubbles to the edges if there are any. So there's a few on this one. So I'm just going right to the edge and then burnish that down. And there we go. So you should have something that looks like that. So you would apply glue to that side, the bottom and up this side. That is then going to slot down into our box and you can see it's quite snug already. So then when we apply the glue and a little bit of weight, it's going to set in there nicely. Just make sure you do get it nice and straight. And the weight is mainly for these top sections because your box is going to have a tendency to want to do that. So by putting your weight there, it's going to seal it and press it down. So just keep an eye on it as it's drying. Make sure that it's staying in line. If you want to do it a little bit of a glue gun without having it too obvious, if you do it to the back, just do 2 dots, so one each side, just behind your actual piece, and that's going to give it a little extra support as well. So hopefully you've enjoyed that little project. And we'll probably try and finish that off later today. Just, I know my desk is going to be in lots of use today. And tomorrow we are doing shaker cards, so you will need acetate, you will need coloured card, you will need a cute character stamp of some variety, and some sequins or beads or anything that's kind of sprinkly in nature. So take care and I will see you tomorrow. Any questions before we go?
I don't think so.
No?
Sam
Okay.
says thank you, Tracy says thank you.
Cool. I got a suicidal rumour. It's gone for a...
Do you want to move?
Yeah, do you want him out? There we go.
No, there's any questions? No.
Okay,
Jill
so...
says thanks. Jill, I'm going to drop you a private message in a minute, so watch out, keep an eye out for that for me.
Yeah.
Say bye then.
So I'll say bye bye for now and see you tomorrow. If you have any questions or any problems in the meantime, Ian will be about, won't you, sweetie?
Yep.
So take care. Bye.